Hi everyone, my name is Eliud Gadesha, Director Elifurni Furniture Limited, founded in year 2000. And today, welcome to this episode of Hustle Zetu.
Welcome to Hustle Zetu. Would you mind sharing with us what's the story behind the name Elifurni, and share with us your name?
My name is Eliud Gadesha. Elifurni is a combination of my name and the trade furniture. So it coins to Elifurni Furniture.
Where did the spark to start a furniture business come from, and what gap were you feeling in the job market?
I was in construction, and one of the frustrations that I was facing was getting quality fittings. And by fittings, I mean whether it's cabinetry, whether it's a door, a frame, or whatever goes into a house. And it would take me a long time to get anyone to give me a good job. And also good quality. So I decided, out of frustration, I decided to start a production. And that production started in other people's garages. And it is what I would say is the gap that I was trying to fill in. Yes.
And do you still remember the first piece you ever made or sold? And what does it mean to you today?
Okay, I did start making furniture or pieces of furniture when I started the company. This is something that I've been doing, I was doing even when I was young. Not necessarily for sale, but as a passion. So I cannot say that I have any one piece that I would particularly remember. I have many pieces that I would pick up and say I did make. What I could say is probably my first project, which was a construction project. And I did most of the woodwork myself. And I got a lot of freehand that I was allowed to make decisions, and I came up with a project that was, and even still is, a very good one that I would always refer to.
In the furniture business, considering timber, finishing, delivery or labor, what's the biggest overlooked cost?
I would say what is overlooked in this business, furniture business, is the labor. We've had a not well-trained artisans in the industry. The industry is not vibrant per se. So then you find that because there's no competition, then there are no structures that have been put in place to measure output. And that now becomes a big challenge because it's something that you cannot measure. So there's a lot of gray areas. So in most cases, that means you'll be doing projects twice at a cost of one. And that is a big challenge.
And how do you balance design versus affordability for ordinary Kenyans without lowering your quality as Elifurni?
The cost comprises of about 4 components, which are materials, labor, profits, and overheads. Now, when you talk about what issues of the cost and availability, some of the components are not in my hands. There's nothing I can do about the cost of the materials, probably very little. There's nothing I can do about, as you can hear, labor. So probably what I could control would be maybe waste, and I can control the process in terms of delivery period. So therefore, when we talk about the costs, that means that for me to be competitive or for me not to appear very expensive, my leverage still remains very, very small. So it's a question of do I stay afloat or do I keep growing? So really, it's a very delicate area to say that for sure I have one answer.
In this industry of furniture, what capital would someone realistically need to start a furniture hustle in Kenya?
First of all, I would say for you to start a furniture business or any other business, you require first and foremost the skill. That is the most fundamental, is one aspect that one must have, that you must have that skill. There are no numbers that would say, you know, because it depends on what was your product like. So the determination of what you require other than the skill depends on what you're looking at. What do you want to produce? What must you have? But most of all, the most critical, I would say, is a skill.
Kenya imports a lot of cheap furniture. How do you compete with this mass production?
First of all, it's unfair competition because in most cases, what is produced locally and what is imported are two different things. What we have locally is not overly processed. What we have coming from out there is, in most cases, overly processed. Let me not call it cheap stuff, but well-finished stuff that may not necessarily be durable or quality. The quality is on the face. And I'm not saying that they don't solve the problem. They solve the problem, but there is the issue of longevity. So when we compare with what may be produced locally, we have to be very careful that what are we comparing? Because we'll be comparing things that are not the same. I would still say that we are competitive, we have a competitive edge. If we would appreciate and look inwards other than looking at the cheap imports that only look good but will not last. So value for money, I would still say that locally produced stuff, if we can up our game, it's still more lucrative. But in terms of comparison, maybe it will not be fair to compare.
Between digital selling and showrooms, which works best for you and why?
Showroom works best for us. In most cases, today there is a feel and touch, and also a bit of story, explaining what the processes that have been achieved, which adds a lot of sentimental value both to the owner and the manufacturer. So I would say showroom, because you're seeing the actual item, you can feel and touch, and you can also inquire just in case you have any doubts or queries.
Nice. So how do Kenyan farmers benefit from the furniture industry, especially in supplying wood and raw materials?
Kenyan farmer, I would say doesn't benefit so much. Because one is we've not had a culture of planting commercial trees for furniture. So whatever is planted, you either found it there, and at times you don't even know what it is. So there's always that disconnect of what is the value. How can you ascertain the value of what you have? There are also no means of ascertaining the value of either that timber or the tree itself. So even the farmer themselves, they're just selling a tree, and most of the trees, in any case, may not fetch their true value, because there are no volumes per se to support a business. So they don't sell their timber per se for as a business. In most cases, it's out of that options.
What steps are you taking to make Elifurni environmentally sustainable given issues like timber bans and deforestation?
The bans only applies to government forests. Or that is where the bans, in as much as probably most of the timber comes from the government forests, there's a lot of other timber that is coming from individual, farms or farmers who have a bit of forestry. So how does Elifurni then make sure that we are conscious about sustainability? Let me call it sustainability. We look at timber, and then we look at what it would, the best uses. That's one thing is Elifurni doesn't look at what type of a tree. We look at what is it suited for. And because even in furniture, you find that furniture are used, whether it's a chopping board, it's still a piece of furniture, whether it's a seat, it's a piece of furniture, whether it's a door, is a piece of furniture. So we look at all timbers and then try to understand where it can best suit. That is to make sure that any tree is still valuable and we can get maximum out of it. That's the first step. The second thing is we look at the yield of the tree. Now that you have the timber, can you maximize it such that you spread what you have as much as possible. So we are very conscious of the waste. When we process entirely. And we'll be able to demonstrate that we are able even to lengthen the timber, and whatever is not usable at all, we use it also to process what is remaining, meaning that stuff like firewood, we try and avoid firewood and use our waste in as much as possible, even to get the energy that dries this timber. So we're very, very conscious of waste.
Do you think the future of Kenyan furniture is eco-friendly, modular, or basically luxury exports?
It's very difficult to predict our future. I would say this is the only time that I've seen a campaign to do to plant trees. That's one. The second thing is the only time that there is proper advice on this, what tree has a short rotation period. We've seen probably for the first time that there are organizations that are asking for traceability, and that would really help. So whether it's modular, whether it's eco-friendly, or whether it's luxurious, it is not, it's still too early to tell where we'll be headed with this. But I foresee probably that will come into some discussion probably 15 years from where we are. We're still lagging behind in terms of commercial forestry, and that will be the determinant. So we cannot talk about the product if we cannot have a sustainable source.
What's the toughest challenge you've faced running Elifurni, and how did you bounce back?
At the early stages, we had issues of compliance. You know, this license or this other license. Then the other challenge that we would face would be accidents. Those were real setbacks. And recently we had, after many years of being in operation, we had fire. We've been resilient enough and we've been strong enough to keep coming back even when it was difficult. I believe for us it's resilience, a lot of resilience and passion for what we do.
Have you managed to face any challenges with sourcing raw materials, for instance, with timber bans in play, or probably, for instance, importation rules outside of Kenya?
It's always a big challenge sourcing raw materials. Most of the raw materials that are commonly known in Kenya are not even grown in this country. A long time ago, we had local timber, both hardwoods and softwoods. But I think with time, those got depleted. So, and that determines actually whether you can grow your business in this environment. And no wonder we do not have a lot of players in the wood sector, because the raw materials are always a challenge. When there's a ban, then of course the prices rocket. When there is surplus, there's a lot of wastage. And you find that the players appear when there is the ban is lifted and disappear. So it means that they don't do it for as a business. And that creates a lot of challenges. So if you want to have a business running, you also have to have a guarantee of the raw materials. And in this case, we've not had that for a long, long time. And probably that is why we have very, very few players in the industry.
And in the case of dealing with copycats and knockoffs in your design, how do you go about that?
Copycats will always be there, and competition is healthy. If we do not have competitors, then we will not upscale, or we will not have standards that are high. So we want to welcome the competitors, whether they are copying or not. The secret about progress will be invention. That once you create today, you also create tomorrow, and knowing very well that what you created can be copied. So we are always innovative.
What would you say to Kenyans who think handmade furniture is too expensive?
I would urge them to think twice. Remember that handmade furniture and where we are at, and I mentioned that we do not have a lot of players, meaning that even the artisans and even the factories or the small workshops that we have, you're always starting. Every day you start. I mean, there's nothing that is repetitive. That means that you're putting in a lot of hours designing, you're putting in a lot of hours perfecting, you're putting in a lot of hours even marketing. So therefore, I would say that handmade, we have to appreciate what goes in handmade as opposed to mass production. And I would tell you, in mass production, that's where everyone wants to be, because you innovate once, you make your money. Handmade furniture, on the other hand, remember, is like what we call bespoke. One item, you struggle with it. By the time you are done, you moved on to another one. So you're learning every day. So therefore, I would say then the buyer ought to look at it like how much time has been put in there and appreciate the hard work that goes into handmade furniture.
From the Kenyan culture, global trends, or our everyday life, what would you say inspires your designs?
I would say everyday's life. Because as a designer, it's what you see that you bring out. We cannot keep on looking outside and say this is modern and chase something that has been perfected by others and still manage to compete. So we try to be unique, meaning that every day, what we see every day, we try and work around that in terms of our thinking and looking for a solution So I would say what guides us is what we see every day.
For a young carpenter watching, what's the first tool or skill they must invest in?
The basic tools. Everyone wants to start from the top. That's in all industries. That I want to have a machine, and that's what I get asked every day. That I want to buy a machine. I want to buy this or the other machine. But at times when you ask, do you have the skill? Then that is like a secondary question. I'll say the primary thing is let's start from the basic. That's the only way you can perfect what you do. That you learn to work with your hands and control your hands. Remember, even when you handle machines, if you have no control over your hands or what you do, you will not be able to produce a product that is, that is good.
How do you decide on pricing without undervaluing your crafts or rather scaring away clients?
I'll say for the same reason that we may not have, figures. When you look at figures, is how do you get these figures? Because you cannot say that because I'm trying to please my customers, I don't want to scare them. What guides my pricing? What guides the pricing is the three components that I talked about, and they are the cost of the materials. And probably there's nothing much you can do about the cost of, or if there is very little, and then unless you're buying in volumes, okay? The other thing is the labor. It must be there. You have a little bit of control because you can have systems that will help you navigate through the wastes. But then you have the profits and the overheads. The overheads, there isn't much you're going to do about the overheads. Now, the profits, the leverage is very small because it's a choice of, do I want to be there or am I working just to be relevant? So once we work on the figures, we don't ask how much others are selling. We assume they are going through the same environment just like ourselves. Because if we ask how much are they selling, how do we know where they are getting their materials from? All right? How do we know how they are getting where they are going? So we are not in competition as to who is cheaper. We are in competition with survival. We want to be there tomorrow. We want to give fair costs that even the customer may find it, even wherever they go, they can compare and say, fine, it's plus, it can even be minus, but you have nearly the same ranges because I would believe that anyone competing with you in the same environment ought to be near you. So we're not pushing to have the business. We're pushing to do fair business.
And as we wind up, between money and passion, what keeps you pushing with this hustle forward? Both.
Because in as much as you'd have a lot of passion, you will not be able to keep moving if there is no money. For you to sustain this passion, there has to be that reward, and that reward is money. So the two move in tandem. I would say, but I think if you put them on a scale, if the money topples the passion, then probably you'll not be in business. So I think the driver here, majorly, what takes most of it is a passion. That you want to do it, you want to do it right, and there is a tomorrow. You want to be there tomorrow. So our processes start by cutting of the timber, as you can see from the machine on my right, then move to the left to the processing that we are seeing there, which is planing all around. And these are some of the products that have come out of that process. After which then we proceed to the finishing which is sanding right across. Behind it, we'll see products that have been sanded, and we can also see more finishing going on my right. So the products are progressive. So we can now move to the finished products. We also reclaim lots of the small pieces that would have been a waste. And we are able to reclaim it back to long pieces of timber that are usable. And these are some of the stocks that are waiting for machining. This is work in progress. The next thing will be glue lamination, and then out of it we can make flooring. We'll see part of the flooring right here that is nearly finished. These are some of our products, research products, that's entomological drawers, which is one of our major projects. We have other going on works like doors, lots of doors, door frames. This is where we do our glue laminations, which is major because we want to get big planks out of small members of timber. And like this is eucalyptus. And we try and use most of it. We have more of it here. We have pine material that is figure jointed. So, and as you can see, they are small pieces put together, and we managed to create a board, a very stable board. And I would say it's better than the one that is not cross-laminated. It's very strong. And this also work in progress. We have mahogany laminated panels, which then we can optimize to get furniture items out of it. We have ongoing work here where we shape, where we start and shape our timber. And we can see the cutting going on to get nearly to the shape. And towards nearly the end, we can see some shaping going on. So we have probably will be able to see what is done. And nearly finally, this is now we've attained the shape. So the next thing is to even up and to sand it up for finishing. So we'll be able to experience how it's done. Very safe, very quick. These are low-level cabinets. These are with drawers, with doors, all in pine material. We have some more products. We have security doors, metal cladded. We are very big in this. You can see, you don't see metal anywhere. And the sizes, you're not restricted to the size of the door that you can do. And also in terms of design, you can choose your own design or still be able to fabricate it. We have some materials for cabinetry. And most of these, as you can see, are the jointed material. Jointed material. Out of the many pieces, we've removed where there are defects and reused most of the timber. That makes us very sustainable. We do solid wood cabinets. Even for the carcasses, we don't want to overprocess. These are straight from timber, and we've managed to stabilize them such that they don't degrade after here. They don't warp, and then they don't open up the joints. We have more products, like this is a pulpit, church pulpit, in solid timber, mahogany, very strong. We have church pews in mahogany also, very strong stuff, very well finished, and we are able to do quite some big orders within a short period. These are some altar furniture, the chairs for churches in mahogany also. We have an altar table here for church. We have painted processing and finishing going on. And that's basically who we are.
Now, for this last segment, I'd like to ask you a fire question. Imported or local?
Local.
Leather or fabric?
Leather.
Classic or modern?
Classic.
Workshop or office?
Workshop.
Money or passion?
Passion.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.